Welcome back to the Tidarium Hangar. Welcome to my 14,000 subscriber special. This is about all of the viewers and thanking viewers for, of course, subscribing, liking, all the comments, all of the discussions that we have down there. But if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. I do post videos almost daily, anywhere between 4 and 7 videos a week and 4 to 7 days a week. And so with that, I talk about reviews and news and discussions about the hobby and collecting and all kinds of stuff like that. So don't mind my crunched up boxes here that I got from Walmart, my packaging for the classifieds. I made a whole video about this, but I mean, these are some other ones that have arrived looking kind of rough. So anyhow, let's take a look at these wonderful collections, and I hope everybody enjoys this, gets some ideas out of it. If you want to submit for the 15,000 subscriber special, I'm going to have a link down below. So let's get into looking at these great collections. All right, we're going to start out looking at Angel's collection, and first off, I want to show that he makes a lot of his backgrounds himself. He does a really good job with it, and so it adds a lot of depth to his display and stuff like that. So here's Star Saber by himself with an awesome background, awesome kind of rock looking with some lava. Great job on that right there. Here's his DJ-D collection there, and so with that, I think that this is pretty much all we're going to be getting with this kind of collection, and it looks pretty filled out. Pretty flushed out, pretty full looking shelf right there. So here goes some headmasters. Now this is quite a long time to get all these headmasters together because some of these are several years old, and so looks very nice though when you get all these headmasters in one shot on one shelf. Look at the elevations, all that kind of stuff looks pretty good. Here's a Unicron team. I believe this is the DX9, and so does look great in the bot modes. So I think this one actually looks good in all modes. The bot mode, the combined mode, and all that kind of stuff. So great looking team right there. So I want to showcase this real fast. This is the background that he made himself. There's LEDs in there and all that kind of stuff. Is styrofoam and then painted and all that kind of stuff. Looks fantastic. I think he did a fantastic job on it. Here's what it looks like when it's got some figures in it. And so we've got an arc. We've got some Unicrons with the Zeta, and then we've got the original Armada, and we've got Cybertron over there, and of course the Shockwave. That pretty cool looking overall, just like how it works, and of course utilizing I believe this is using some different angles on the roof line and all that kind of stuff. So putting it up there at the top and the big stuff on top looks fantastic. It looks like you're really in outer space. Some more big bots right here, kind of as he's upgrading to the Zeta Superion. Going to be probably upgrading to a different defense sword down the road, but still it looks pretty good overall. Nice. So here's some of the CDL, and that is the company that was making the KO versions, and different color variations of that RC or the NICE, and so those look pretty good. Those I kind of wish I would have picked up some more of those, but they look fantastic, especially when you put them in an environment such as this. Here they are in the alt mode. We're going to see a lot more alt modes in some different pictures coming up from many different collections. Here we go with some big bots, the Titans, and then of course smaller figures to kind of show the size and the size disparity, all that kind of stuff. Do like the background in there and all of that, so looking fantastic. Just kind of feel like it's part of the cartoon and all that. And that's one of the things that I like to see in a display. You kind of feel like you're part of the cartoon. Fantastic job right there. Here's the display with no figures in it. So I just really am impressed with the skill and the amount of work and level that's got into creating these backgrounds and displays. It looks fantastic. And this is more big bots, more of the combiners. And then, of course, that green drone that's in there, that's cool looking too. That thing's way bigger than I thought because that's an MP36 next to it. I didn't realize that green guy was going to be so big. Here we go. There are a few different things going on. We've got the cassettes, and we've got custom work going on in here with some of these figures. So it still looks pretty cool, pretty awesome overall. Just kind of spread out and showing a whole lot and making use of all that space. Here we go, some triple changers in there with what looks like real looking rocks and the way he worked and made those background, all that kind of stuff. So it looks fantastic. It's a constant work in progress, and it just looks better every time he shows. Here we go with some of the DS Seekers, and of course we've got the Skyfire in there. So looking pretty good overall. I mean, I do love those DS Seekers. They look fantastic. Great collection, Angel. Thanks so much for sharing. Now we're getting into Forest Collection, and this is a very nice collection. A lot of Legends stuff in here that shows the difference in scale. And again, I'm putting smaller bots, smaller figures next to your larger figures, and that looks fantastic. So this is the Zeta Unicron and some of the Legend Dinobots and Headmasters, that kind of stuff. Still looks really fantastic. Fantastic looking overall. I do like the artwork behind him on the wall. That looks great, and it does feel a lot like the cartoon. So we're going to see some more pictures of Legends. You can do a lot with the Legends because they're so small. They're small enough and highly detailed that you can flesh out a lot of different scenes and show a lot of different stuff there. So looking fantastic overall. And so with this is a lot of Decepticons, multiple shelves of Decepticons. Got them spread out. You got some elevation in the back, some lifted up in the back, and that kind of stuff. And then showing the Constructicons as a team broken down and not built. So that's definitely a way to show them, and an option to show them like that. So that looks pretty cool too. So overall, just a nice looking Legends display. Here we go with more of the Decepticons. And I do want to point out we've got a Devastator that's built as a Devastator combined. On this shelf, on another shelf, there was a separate broken down Devastator. So that's kind of cool right there. And then just showing some different scenes, looking like you've got some characters in a scene to the right here. And so that looks good. That's always fun to kind of put a scene together. And then, of course, you have displaying other characters along the way there. Looks like there's some LED lights that aren't turned on just yet. I bet you when the lights, the big lights are out and the LEDs are on, it looks really cool. Plus, look at all of those Sharkticons. I think it's a lot of fun to have the Sharkticons. Great that they made the Alicons too and all of that kind of stuff. And then that Judgment set, that Pit of Judgment, is really a great looking set. And put it all together and all these different iterations of Sharkticons. Just so much fun. Got to have some Autobots in there. And I do like how we have the backgrounds, the displays, the elements that are put in there. So kind of like rock and stone, and just kind of having that earth feel to it, and then having all of that to elevate these figures so you can kind of see what's in front, you can see what's in the back, you can see what's going on, and then kind of the lower shelf there, and separating out those aerial bots in bot mode, and it looks pretty cool. And I think that's a really cool set too. I believe that's a Zeta set, because I think Zeta's the only one that's made aerial bots for the Legends so far, and they look fantastic. That's awesome looking overall. Just really great. Got to be a whole lot of fun with these Legends. Now, I've seen almost every collection having an arc in it, and I think it was brilliant that Hasbro made the arc. People are loving this thing, and I think almost all of them displayed in the arc mode, so that's fantastic. Of course, showing some real small, I think these are the metal or die-cast bots next to it to give it that sense of size, and that's a way to do it. That is definitely a way to make that arc look like it's about the right size and scale. I mean, you're never going to get exact perfect scale of something like this, so getting as close as you can with these, that works. Also kind of showing how he displays his boxes in the background. It's kind of low-key, hey, here's what are the boxes and how I do that. I do like the artwork. I do like having the boxes, and it is kind of fun to go back and see with those boxes. But not everyone has space for it, but he's making space for it. And then, of course, showing some more of those die-cast metal, little small statuesque kind of pieces with a background in there. And I don't know, just finding stuff that would work and fit and putting it together that works. This is, I believe, the Joy Toy display. I have one of these. These are perfect. Absolutely perfect. They're 3.75 inch characters that it's supposed to go with. Perfect for Legends. And so with that, looks great. And putting all your Legends figures in there. And I think they made like 5 different variations that you could get of these Joy Toys. So putting that in as one of your elements definitely works. So this is really cool here with the way this is set up with the wall and the floor. And then, of course, we have Teletran 1 in there. And we've got the table and, you know, Death of Optimus Prime scene going on. So works really well. All this being done with Legends, of course, you can do so much with Legends, and there's so many characters that have already been made that you can even put this scene together. Pretty awesome. Here we go with more Titans and a mix of Titans and Legends, and I've always felt like that looks great and that works very well. Titans next to Legends, and so with that, you can see for yourself how well that works. Love the '86 movie poster mixed in, and works well. Now, this is something I haven't seen. This is a focused collection, a focused shelf, and this is Brainstorm, and I have not seen this many different iterations of Brainstorm on the shelf. In fact, I didn't know this many were made. So very impressive. I like that. And I think it's fleshed out because there's some duplicates, especially because you have one in bot mode, one in alt mode for different variations, possibly what's going on right here. But very, very impressive because did you know that there were this many Brainstorms that have been made over the years? Because I didn't, and it looks so cool. And then down below, doing some similar stuff with Chrome Dome and the rest of them, but they're not nearly to the level of the Brainstorm. Very awesome focus shelf. Forrest, thanks for sharing. What a great collection, and doing a lot of stuff with those legends and doing a lot of stuff with your collection. Looks fantastic. All right, getting into Gibbs' collection. Now, Gibb has an amazing collection with Transformers, so he's showing me some stuff that's not Transformers, and I'm pretty excited about that too. Masters of the Universe Origins. I've been having a lot of fun collecting Origins myself, and so he's starting to dabble in it himself and put together some shelves. Here's one shelf of that. Now, I think I'm jumping around. It would have been nice to say, hey, here's all of the He-Man. But here's a picture of him starting to mess around with some Super 7 Turtle stuff. So he's going to do a lot with that too. That's going to be pretty awesome. Here we go with the Dinobots. Now, this is 2 of each, 1 in each mode. So far, the 3 that have come out. I have not tracked down a sludge just yet. I didn't really want to pay the high online prices. I was hoping to find them in the store. But maybe that's going to happen with this reset. But this looks pretty cool here. And he does kind of showcase his stuff right here before he puts it into its display. But that is pretty cool to have both of them, both modes. And Hasbro's doing a pretty good job with these. I got to finish the last 2. Am I looking at this right? Is this 2 of the Blitzwaves? Because that's pretty awesome. 2 Blitzwaves. And one thing is, it's hard to decide how to display your Blitzway if you have 1. So why not get 2? But great bot mode, great display stand for the lion mode and all that kind of stuff. They're flying. Kind of wanted to show this picture of them flying from the back. I really think that they really set it up that you would want to display it from the back because you have the streamers on there and kind of stuff like that. So the trail that they leave behind in different colors. So pretty cool. All right, this showcases a few different things going on right here. First of all, you do have a few of the Quintessons from the X-Transbots. These things are huge, by the way. These are massive. I didn't realize it was going to be quite this big. And then you can kind of see the toy version of the Fans Toys Galvatron in the toy deco, which is really cool and kind of what we remember from the toy deco. And yes, jumping around, would like it to be a little more cohesive. But anyway, this is a Marvel Legends shelf looking fantastic. Everything is posed to look like they're there with a purpose and a reason and that kind of stuff. So that's awesome right there too. So I personally don't do a whole lot of Marvel Legends, but I watch every one of the movies. So it's kind of fun to see this brought to life. And that's exactly why people collect these and why we collect our Transformers, right? Bring it to life. Now, I do like shots like this that kind of show the whole overall display, and we can kind of see what's going on in there with, you can see some turtles where he put his turtles in the top right. And then you can see, on the lower shelf too, the Marvel. We've got some Thundercats in there. We got some He-Man in there. I think we have some pictures of those we're going to see here in just a bit. Here's a shot of the top of the shelf. Now, he does a lot of things where we see the alt modes, and that works in his top shelf alt modes, but also these big, giant bots, and we've got that Megatron. And then, of course, got the Moon Studio version of Raiden there, so so that thing's done. That's stick a fork in it. That thing looks fantastic. It's huge too. Just look how big that thing is next to Springer. Springer's not a small feat right there. That's a pretty good size figure, especially in helicopter mode. Here we go, integrating some of the new characters that have come out. Most specifically, the Outrider is integrated into this display, and so that's kind of where we're at right now. We're upgrading like one figure at a time, or swapping out one figure at a time, or adding that piece to your collection. And it looks great. He's already had these looking great before, but I did a swap out there. Here we go with, I am jumping around here, the Thundercats picture. This is Super 7. They look fantastic. Look at the lighting and the spacing, and then, of course, elevating up the old Mumra, the old one, next to the Ever Living, all that kind of stuff. I think Super 7's doing a great job with these. They look fantastic, and just this is proof right here how good those figures look as a display. Here we go with some different primes that are prime for, yeah, they look different. So cool looking overall. These are, I think one's a custom. I think the green one's a custom. I'm not sure. But anyway, still very interesting looking overall. And of course, having that whole shattered glass look to the display, that works. Here's another angle on that top shelf of the alt modes, which it looks good. But the idea to put that giant spinning blade on the X-Transbot Springer, brilliant. It looks fantastic when you display it like that, definitely. And here's the Headmaster shelf, kind of squeezing in some of the juniors there. So that works very well. Well spaced, well elevated, and well lit. Looking fantastic. Jumping over to this. Now, I believe this is a Hot Toys version of the Batmobile. I can only cross my fingers and hope that McFarlane's is going to look half as good, because the Hot Toys is fantastic. If this is the Hot Toys. But this has light up features, also those kinds of things. But it's also huge. It's not made for the 1/12. It's 1/6. But just that's my Batmobile right there. That looks awesome, and that definitely takes up a lot of space. It's a big Batmobile. Here we go. Some Masterpiece Decepticons working in there, and then look like we added a few characters to the mix, and works out pretty well. Looks fantastic, and just well spread out, well displayed. Good job. We got some Bumblebee movie collection figures. This is the beginnings of what's going to be pretty awesome collection of Bumblebee movie characters. So right there, looking pretty good. Great collection. I really do appreciate all the pictures, and thanks so much. Getting into Jason's collection here, and this looks pretty cool. Awesome right there with some Tomb Raider. Simple yet effective, and I'm guessing these are these statues? Are these posable? That still looks pretty cool overall. Same thing going on with the Godzilla, and that is pretty cool right there. It's less is more, simple and effective, and then kind of mixing with the comic and a book and all that kind of stuff. So very elegant going on right there. This is an Optimus Prime shelf that is, see, you've seen Optimus Prime shelves just cluttered with them, but spacing it out and less is more on a shelf can look very good at the end of the day. I don't know about what's going on this shelf. I really can't talk about it so much, but I think it looks cool. So whatever is going on this shelf does look really cool. City of Heroes art collection. Looks like some more statues, some really cool looking stuff with the transparent and all that. But I don't really know what it's about. But looks great. Here we go with how this shelf is displayed, integrating a whole lot of cool stuff, and it looks very neat and elegant and well lit, and so something to definitely be proud of and enjoy, and take inspiration for whatever you're working on for the day or whatever you're doing. It looks fantastic the way this is set up. Moving over to the other side of the room here, same type of setup, but we've got some Star Wars stuff at the top. Looks like we've got maybe some Macross stuff down below it. Then we've got a mixture of different stuff on that third shelf lower down, and all kinds of great stuff going on right here. So really cool looking collection overall, and just spreading it out, less sticking with the simple, less is more approach, and it does look pretty good. Here's some very nice looking statues right here. Fantastic all overall, and getting with that whole Tila and then a mermaid and all that kind of stuff. So really looks nice. Looks fantastic. Jason, thanks for sharing. I love how you have it set up, and definitely very clean looking collection and display. So we've got Justin's collection here, and here we go with some really cool looking Masterpiece Transformers. I love that chromed out Grimlock. That thing looks fantastic. Just something about the chrome, it gets me every time. Here we go with a Beast Wars collection, and looking pretty good. Now, this is one of those things, when it comes to Beast Wars, it's I still think about a 50-50 split. Who displays them in Beast mode, who displays them in the robot mode, and that kind of stuff. And Beast mode seems to win right here. Looks fantastic overall. Getting into some of the... See, we were just talking about Coneheads, and here we go with a nice Conehead collection in the alt mode, looking fantastic. And they all look like they're flying around in there, so that is pretty cool on the flight stands and all that. Here we go with some Seekers, and we've got the deformation space seekers in there, looking pretty good, and I like that. I want to point out you don't see a whole lot of the kneeling pose in displays. That's something that I'm just noticing. That's pretty awesome to have the kneeling pose going on and looking very effective. Jason, thanks for showing me your pictures. I would love to see like a big snapshot of the whole thing one day. That would be pretty awesome. Thank you for submitting. So getting into Sam's collection, and this is a pan shot of like this whole giant space. And I remember him taking pictures of when he was building some of the displays and shelves that he was going to display this. And now it looks fantastic. Once it's done, very, very good job. Very good work. Let's get into looking closer at some of this here. So here's one of the display shelves that Sam's put together, and it looks great. And just all the different stuff going on in there. On the top, we have a whole bunch going on with different levels, different elevations, which is kind of cool to kind of, if you see how the middle shelf is lower, but then the side shelves are higher, but it's kind of got the same thing going on all the way across with those Decepticons. And then, of course, the whole entire upper area is Decepticons. Just looks really good. You've got the big giant ones in the back and then smaller ones in the front, and different levels of elevation stuff. So it's not too busy, but your eye can go to different areas and just really enjoy each different little space, which works very well. Down below, getting to see Unicron in both Unicrons. So I believe that is the HasLab in the planet mode, and then you have the Zeta in the bot mode, which is exactly the way I would like to display those things. Looks fantastic. And then, of course, a bunch of the smaller ones in there too, fleshing it out with a nice Unicron shelf. Now, what I like about this is how we have backgrounds and we have elements put in there, so it feels real world, yet a combination of real world and walking around out of the cartoon. Just beautiful. Loving that and how that worked out, and having larger bots with Titans mixed with smaller bots, so that it shows it's a scale. Feels like there's some stakes in here. Looking fantastic. Just, that's outstanding looking right there. The way that's done, and each scene seems to make sense. One seems to be on Earth, one seems to be in Cybertron. Works very well. Here's a nice little corner action of one of the shelves. We got a Optimus Prime shelf, which is a focus there. Then we have a display down below that, just kind of another one of those where you have two Titans going at it and a bunch of smaller ones in the battle. Here's another angle of that shelf so you can kind of see how that works. So, and this is one of those things, I'm guessing he built this built-in himself. I'm not 100% sure on this section, but it still looks really cool the way it's done. Here's a close-up on that Focus Prime shelf. And so with this, you've got to have a Prime in his alt mode, so that works too, and that's huge. So huge Prime in there, so looking great. And then, of course, some smaller ones right next to it. Nice looking homage to the great leader Optimus Prime. Sam, great display, great collection, great work done. I thank so much for sharing this with us. We got a few pictures from Trevor we're going to show here. So this is kind of showing some of the stuff, I guess, the pickups along the way, showing what he's keeping in the package. And these, I would say, are really good to keep in the package when you look at the Super 7 ones. And I think they're great. I think they look cool in the package, and they're interesting little figures at 3.75-inch scale. And so mine are all in the package still too. So I'm right there with you. We got some really cool stuff on top of the box there, on that arc, and some books and stuff. Here's some more, like a mixture of open and sealed and some great stuff like that. Looking pretty cool overall. Just kind of starting to set up with some displays here. We're going to see that in a little bit here. And then some more good stuff to look at. So here we go with a big display. And so it would have been nice to pan it out just a little bit, see a little bit more what's going on in there. So, but there's a whole lot going on right here with mostly mainline kind of stuff going on, and just a huge scene of all kinds of stuff going on with all of these figures in here. Still looking pretty good. Looks like multiple different eras kind of mixed together to get this looking good. So overall, look at all the Sharkticons down there. But yeah, I would love to see more panned out and like what's going on with the rest of it and that kind of stuff. That would be great. And then like close-ups here and there would be fun to see next time. But great looking. Thanks, Trevor, for showing me pictures of what you got going on over there. And this is so much fun to see all this stuff. So what do you think about all these collections? Did you get any ideas on how to display your stuff? Are you getting motivated to display your stuff? Is that what this is all about? So kind of celebrating all of the viewers and collections, and hopefully give you ideas and points and tips. And let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.